Alright, hello. With all these top 10 videos, I might as well change my channel name to classicmojo.com. But knowing them, they'll probably steal my videos no matter what I do. But before the summer of 2017, people were saying Crash Bandicoot himself was a relic of the past. But now, happily, the franchise is back and thriving. But today, I'll be counting down the 10 hardest relics in the Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy. Although I'll be commenting on the Platinum relics, as they are what I personally aim for, I know not everyone goes for the Platinum, so if you're going for Gold, Sapphire, or even happy with a wooden spoon, then take this list with a pinch of salt. I'll not be including Stormy Ascent or Future Tense, as they're both DLC levels and are designed by absolute psychopaths, so obviously they would make the list if I was including them, but that would be a bit boring and obvious. With that being said, let's start the countdown at number 10. Yes, that's right, the High Road only just made it into my top 10, despite notoriously being one of the hardest levels in the entire trilogy. But in my opinion, the time is very lenient, so it's more about staying alive. Staying alive. No, this is no time for singing. Singing terribly as well. Which, admittedly, is easier said than done to stay alive on this level. I think by now everyone knows the trick about jumping on the ropes, and if you didn't, well, then unfortunately you're going to have to learn it to get a decent time on this level, since the turtles will slow you down as well as the invincible floating hogs. Seriously, how are these hogs and turtles even up here? Where do they get their food from? Oh, wait, it's a video game. So video game logic. Of course. So, in at 9 is Sphinxinator from Crash Bandicoot Warped, and is among the Egyptian tomb themed levels. This one is tricky as there are multiple paths you can actually choose from, with the secret path at the start on the left, as well as the blue gem path in the middle of the level. But so far as I know, sticking to the normal path is the quickest way. This is one that I had a lot of problems with and I had to do plenty of attempts to get the relic. I was getting so frustrated I had to call my mummy. And that's not a joke about it being an Egyptian tomb themed level. She literally told me to stop being a crybaby bitch and that Crash Bandicoot is easy. In at number 8 is Cold Hard Crash. First of all, I don't really like cold hard things. Unless they're ice lollies, of course. Get your mind out of the gutter, everyone. Naughty. This is again more like the High Road in that the time is pretty lenient, but staying alive and running in this level is a nightmare. When you consider Crash 2 was not originally designed to have the running ability, or Relics for that matter, nobody should really be running around Cold Hard Crash. It's a level which needs to be taken slowly and carefully. Also, I never quite worked out if it's quicker to take the death route or not, so let me know in the comments, is the death route faster or not? In at 7 is Native Fortress, which is commonly the first level in which most people will get stuck in the first game, due to its high level of difficulty. There's just so many enemies to avoid, and timing has to be spot on to avoid the big spiky dildos. Am I allowed to say dildos on a video? Well, I've said it now anyway. But to be fair, they do look like big spiky dildos. Not that I know what that looks like. Anyway, this is among the last Platinum relics I got on the first game, and I don't want to do it ever again. As you can tell from my gameplay, I am a very rusty man. In at 6 we have High Time. I do not have a nice time when I'm going for a quick time in High Time. What I found most difficult is timing the jumps of the flying carpets that move upwards in a cycle, I'd always jump just a bit too early then fall flat down on my face. A good tactic you will need to use a lot on this level is the slide jump tornado spin. A spin to fly across gaps, as well as collecting all the free Aku Aku masks in the level, but even then the time is still very tight. You will also have some sluts that throw bombs onto the level, which I always thought was rather rude. Anyway, it's high time we got out of this level and on to number 5. So, in at number 5 is Gone Tomorrow, another level in Crash Bandicoot Warped. Quite surprisingly, I struggled with the only game in which relics were in the original version. Maybe that is because I personally play Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 just a little bit more than I did Crash Bandicoot Warped, although I do love all 3 games. Gone Tomorrow is a future themed level and is a mix of side-scrolling and the classic view behind Crash. Of course, Crash Bandicoot's arse camera. I actually found Future Frenzy pretty easy compared to this one, despite this one being an earlier level in the game. It's very hard to continue running and keeping your speed up in this level, and it's all too easy to end up vaporized. It was inevitable that a motorbike level would make it on this list. From now on, the final 4 are all levels in which I have not got a platinum relic. I struggled like many to actually win the race and get the crystal, let alone a relic for this one. The controls of the motorbike have always felt very odd and counterintuitive, since it really just doesn't steer at all. There is of course a trick you can do where you don't actually start off when the lights go out. The only problem is, when you've done this about 10 times, it does get very monotonous as you just wait and wait and wait and just can't move until you think maybe they're finished, but then no, there's still an old Grandma Lab assistant that's driving so slowly you literally have to wait about 5 minutes, and even then you sometimes catch up to them. In at number 3 is Spaced Out, which is the final level in Crash Bandicoot 2. And boy did they leave a tough one for the end. If you find pissing it away hard, you will not enjoy this one. My first main problem with this is the hitboxes on the Flash and Electric bots. I am not quite sure what their actual name is, but I'm calling them Flash and Electric bots because why not? Since there's a split second where you should be able to slide or jump on them, but they still manage to shock you. The second problem is the rest of the level, really. Running through this one at speed and not making mistakes is not a fun time. I must have tried this one about 20 times just to record some footage, and I barely made it past the first section in this level. So then, just missing out on the top spot is the lab. I just hate this level so much. This is another one in Crash 1 in which time trial just really doesn't fit in, since it's all about timing. In order to get a platinum relic, you have to jump through some gates while there's electricity fired at you, and you have to skip over some gaps while there's no floor to stand on. It's not that bad when you have time to wait for each cycle to finish, so you can actually go through it normally, but when you have a time trial, it just ends up being a mess. With that being said, we're going to go to our number 1. However, there are 3 honourable mentions that did not quite make the top 10. So then, the hardest relic in my opinion has to be Hanging Out. This is one level in which it took all my ability just to get a gold relic, and I am nowhere near a platinum, and I probably never will be. I know there is a way in which you can take damage while on the monkey bars to skip those sections since they are slow. Of course, it does cost you an Aku Aku mask, but I've never been able to do that consistently. I can barely keep onto my Aku mask in the first place. Not only that, there are tunnels of enemies flying at you, pools of electrified water, just everything that is tough to get past quickly. But with that being said, this is a really awesome game, and I am glad they did add relics into the first 2 games as well, despite all the anger and frustration they have caused me. But I'd like to thank everyone for watching my countdown, and let me know the levels you struggle with when getting relics, whether they are sapphire, gold or even platinum. But for now, take care and leave me alone.